Evade. Get away from the bad guy. Get yourself into a position where the bad guy can't hurt you. Here's the problem, going back to what you were talking about, Sarah, that teachers will audit. What's the first thing a teacher ever did when you went to school? And what's the first thing most of the teachers do first thing in the morning? Roll call. Take attendance. Accountability.
Line people up.
Number one job of the teacher. Accountability. Where are the students? Attendance. Right? Throw it out the window. That's hard. That's one of the biggest battles we've got. We cannot limit evasion by either of these two principles. One, we cannot limit evasion to as a group. We have to allow students to scatter. We have to allow for the fact that a student in the hallway might run away, and we're not going to leave the kids in the classroom to go out in the hallway and find the other student somewhere. Students may not be accounted for. I'd much rather have a student not accounted for an hour and a half than, there they are dead. I know where they are. That doesn't help. The only kids that survived in one of the classrooms in Newtown were kids that ran past the bad guy off campus and went to a former school employee's house. That everybody else in that classroom got hurt or killed. Evasion works. If you're not there, you're not going to get hurt. 62 kids running through a parking lot is better than 62 kids crammed in the back of a classroom, or 30 kids in this classroom and 30 kids in this classroom, and it's a flip of the coin. The bad guy goes in here, those kids all die. Bad guy goes in here, those kids all die, those kids live. I'd rather have all 62 of them running through the parking lot than have 30 of them here, 30 of them here with one teacher each, both of them hiding and hoping, and it's a flip of the coin on who gets shot. Because we know, when the bad guy goes into the room, if all you're doing is hiding and hoping, he's going to kill you. That's what it comes down to. You're going to get shot at, you're going to get shot, you're going to get hurt, and you could very well die if all you're doing is sitting and hoping. Now, why does lockdown stay? Lockdown still stays because 99.99999% of the time, for 99.99999% of the people, lockdown works. But if you're in the room the bad guy picks, it doesn't work. So evade, get away. One principle, they must be allowed to leave as individuals. Second principle, they cannot be limited to the campus. Can't be limited to the campus. If a bad guy comes to the campus and you can get off the campus, get off the campus. Run away. Go to the fire department, go to the police department. If you're out in a rural county high school, go hide in the woods. I'd much rather you were hiding in the woods and cold or dirty and wet for a couple hours than in the classroom when the bad guy chooses your classroom. So those are two big things that we're fighting to get teachers and faculty to understand. You cannot limit to group movement, and you cannot limit by the confines of the campus. I'd much rather, risk that the student gets hit by a car crossing the street than stays in the classroom and gets shot. All the rules still apply, right? You still look left, look right, look left again when you cross the street, but you get away from the bad guy. Next principle. Barricade. Make it harder for the bad guy to get into a position where he can hurt you. Simple principle. We encourage teachers to look ahead in their rooms. What do they have? How can they change their doors that open out are harder to secure than doors that open in, but there are ways you can do it. Simple ways. A couple of eye hooks and a quick draw. Two carabiners with web. Hook. Bad guy goes to open the door. He knows there's a lock. Bad guys have a plan. They break the lock. They shoot the lock, whatever they do. But the door still doesn't move. Maybe they leave. Bad guys are looking for victims. Or looking for, just like anything else. You have the steel gated storm door on your house, and the guy over there has his front door open. Where's the thief going to go in the middle of the day? Right? So anything we can do to slow, deter, make it harder. I don't care if we just pile all the desks up in front of an outward opening door. Bad guy opens the door and finds a bunch of desks to climb over or shoot through. It's harder for him to get into a position to hurt you or the kids because of the actions you took. Don't just hide and hope. Do something. Make it harder for the bad guy to get there. Soapy water on the floor, dry chemical fire extinguisher powder on the floor, whatever it is. I don't care. Barricade. Make it harder for the bad guy to get into a position to hurt you. The third piece is respond. And this is the one where I'm actually a little frustrated with the number of people inside of our community who piss on the idea that we're supposed to teach unarmed people to fight against the armed gunman. I understand that in their hearts, their agenda is we need to push the Second Amendment, we need to get armed teachers, we need to get guns into schools. I get it. That would be better if they were trained, caveat, right? But since that's not going to happen on Monday, teaching kids to just sit under a desk and hope doesn't make any sense to me. So finding something, finding the best ways we can help the unarmed person respond to the arms-free killer is what response is all about. And your response might be to evade, right? So if we're locked, and this is one of the caveats you make in the educational environment, to the principal, to the superintendent, to the teacher. Yes, I get it. First bell goes off, you're not going to send kids scattering through the city. I get it. So lock down. But when the bad guy is actually at your door with the gun, and you've got a window right there, and the kids can go out the window and run off the campus, let them do it. So maybe your response is evade. You don't get so rigid and so locked down that you can never leave the classroom, even though there is a guy with a gun bursting through your door. That's a pretty good fucking time to leave the classroom. So first response might just be evade. Next thing we talk about is preventing injury. What can you do to prevent injury? Thick books, backpacks, put them on backwards, filled up with the science and the history books. Books can stop bullets. They can slow them down, they can deflect it. Chairs, desks, blankets, obscure vision, behavioral cover. Who's seen the video of the undercover police officer in the hotel room when the bad guys pull out the gun? He falls down between the bed in front of like the clock radio surveillance camera or whatever it is, and he has his hand up and he's saying stop, don't. And the bad guy's got the gun and he's doing this to try to get around the hand. It's called behavioral cover, and it's real, and you'll see it in real dash camera videos, you'll see it in force-on-force training. If I take this book and I say stop, a lot of people will not pull the trigger on this book, even though this book is not, because they want to shoot me in the face, they want to shoot me in the chest. This may buy me a moment, right? That may cause that hesitation. We're talking about behavioral cover. So we talk about ways to prevent injury. Dry chemical fire extinguisher has become like my go-to best thing. Awesome. Just shoot it right in the face, prevent injury. That's from the video we taped. I don't care who the guy is. I don't care who's wearing a. Somebody's like, they saw this picture on the internet. Well, the guy in Colorado was wearing a gas mask. I don't care. I'm not going to say. Yeah, when you get a blast of that in your face, you're still going to flinch. You're still going to turn away. You're still going to put your hands up. You're still going to close your eyes, even with a gas mask. And even if you don't, if you're like fucking Clockwork Orange conditioned, and you're just Terminator style, you still can't see anything. So it's a distraction. Distract the attacker. Take them off their game. Sir.
There's a YouTube video about dealing with workplace attackers, and one of the responses was to do something to fight back, and there had these role players showing, and they had somebody grabbing a fire extinguisher and trying to hit him with it.
Sure.
But instead of spraying him with it.
Do both.
Yeah.
Right? It's a heavy, big metal object. Do both. Right? Spray it and then hit it.